Oh, okay, awesome. Well, man, again, my apologies. Greetings to you,
Brother.
brother Saber Tillman.
Hotep, brother.
Man, it's an honor because I see you constantly working all the time. And for me, this is in part of my journey, something that I can't even explain, put into words. Again, for me, the warrior way is like the essence of my being. So to see someone as your example and know the circles that you come from, I'm just like, you know, I'm knowing now, like, man, I'm actually making my dreams come true, certain, to the extent where I'm like, again, just honored. So I don't
Okay.
want to take too much of your time, but basically, my question would be uh, based on your perspective and your experience, what in terms of the warrior identity, what is it to you, and how would you define that?
Warrior culture, especially when it comes from a couple of different places. For me, I had to dig back into African cultural history to understand the warrior culture. So, I mean, of course, being an African American in this, this United States that we call it, I go back to my roots. Is how you actually start because you got to find out your essence of being is or where you're from culturally speaking, right? So we know that we come here, everybody knows about the history of slavery. We understand, exactly, what brought us here, but we don't know exactly where we're from foundation speaking, as far as, a colonized Africa, right? So that's what we all know. So going back home to the basis, to the motherland, is my first place of establishment. Okay. So that's the first place I started. Um,
Mm,
yeah, because I believe that everybody understands that once you go back home, you'll find your roots there because everybody knows that's pretty much the essence of everything. We have come from West Africa, South Africa, East Africa. But the bottom line is that we have a place there, so we start there first. Then we work our way outward. So we know that we're here, but we need to go back home first.
mm.
Okay, that's
Yes,
how we
sir.
start. Yeah. And then after that, we kind of work our way out to understanding who we are as a people, understanding who we are, from the inside out. So that's kind of how it got started.
Awesome, man. So that's in knowing who you are, knowing where you come from, to know where you're going, kind of thing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's what would bring me to the next question, because I know for me, what what also intrigued me, caught my interest in terms of the martial art or the warrior way was philosophy. Is
Mm-hmm.
there philosophy in on the warrior path, or in warrior culture? Would you say there's philosophy there?
Correct. So what I did was about maybe 15 years ago or so, I got connected with Gregory Walker, The Shades of Memnon, who wrote the book series. So when I went up under his tutelage and under his teachings, I understood that, the word culture from the Nile Valley. So I went back to understand the Nile Valley warrior culture and the philosophy teaching, and I understood who Montu is and who Montu is and the Montu arts. So that was, something that I went on that journey, on that path with him. And he's taught me a lot, of course, throughout the years. So long before martial arts existed, it was called the Montu arts.
Mm,
Okay. So the Montu art form is an African defense system that was taught to the military, taught to their soldiers, and stuff like that. So to kind of give you a little overview, Montu is the vitality of the Nasubiti. We call them the Pharaoh. They got names for them, but that's what
mhm.
it means. So Montu, okay, or the one who becomes, or the manifested one would be someone like Ursa Ma'atra as an example. He's a form of a Montu because he's a Nasubiti. Okay,
Mm.
mean one of the two lands. Okay, we're talking about Shehuti, right? We're talking about him. So okay, Kepra Jehuti is another one. Okay, Tunk Unk Amun is another one. Okay,
Mm.
so yeah, so Montu literally means the Nasubiti warrior arts.
Mm.
Okay, so that's where the
Yes.
journey was. Yes, and so after that, pioneered our system, and that's Pan Kau Rau Shen. So Pan Kau
Ah,
Rau Shen, okay, is the warrior art of the Nasubiti.
you were going. You were. I was getting right to that question. Was getting right to it as
Okay?
far as the arts, the
Yes,
kind of warrior arts
yes,
that you practice and teach.
yes.
And if you don't mind, like how long and what inspired you to really commit to that,
Okay.
so you said it's Pan Kau Rau Shen.
Yeah, Pan Kau Rau Shen. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the martial arts for over 30 years, okay? Almost 40 years. But we learned all the different Asian arts, the jiu-jitsu, the karate, the taekwondo, all the arts, throughout the years I was involved with. I always wondered, do we have a system of our own? I always wondered that Africans practice a system. What, if it was, what was it? Because we see all these Asian arts, but I know African people had to have one too. So
Mm.
of course, yeah, my teacher, of course, my Shepsu introduced me to that. So Pan Kau Rau Shen is the Nasubiti art. It's a Kemetic art. That means all-encompassing strength and powers. Okay, that's what that
Mm.
means. Okay, so we didn't have a name like judo or boxing or wrestling. What we had was the encompassing arts, which means all of the arts encompass one, like an MMA, UFC, that type of deal, because it was all
Yes.
encompassing art. So the Greeks grabbed it and call it pancration now. See, so if you look up pancration, okay, they practice it over in the Greeks practice it, but it was called Pan Kau Rau Shen.
Wow. Wow. Man. And I mean, based on that, so that would take us thousands of years prior to all the arts that we know and that are popularized today.
Correct.
Um, Prior to that, through the Mantu arts, because if I'm not mistaken, I think in our conversation you were telling me um, that prior to Amun, that the people within that region had an adoration towards Montu. Is
Yes,
that correct? Around
that's
that
correct.
time?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. Mhm.
Wow.
So it is what is called, they call the city Thebes, right? Or that's right. But for us in ancient Kemet, it's called the Nahwasat, the Wasat, the city of the was, or the scepter city. Okay, that's the place of Amun, Mut, Konsu, and Montu. Okay, you look it up, you see what I'm talking about. So this is the capital city. This is like, this is the place, okay, of the arts, because this is the place of the Nisubiti, the place of, like I mentioned, Mut, the place of Konsu, as I talked about, the place of what is called Sut, or the worship city or holy place of Amun.
Mm,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
wonderful, man. Oh my God, it's powerful. Because it's like it's just lining everything up as like
yes, my brother.
really empowering right here, man. And that would bring me to this is as far as what like based on having that identity and having a philosophy, because one, the simple question of who am I, where do I come from, that brings about philosophy. And of course, we've been doing that as Africans for,
Right.
I mean, over,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Of
I
course.
can't even count it, right?
Right.
And so that would bring me to with having that and really being passionate and cultivating oneself in with that philosophy and with those that art form and being dedicated, what are the daily principles that a warrior will go by? Like, and with that, um, and I guess with that in mind, in these days and times, do you feel as though that we should have a warrior culture, that we're in need of a warrior culture?
Yes, my brother, we are. Because we all know that we used to, okay, be up under Ma'at, okay, truth, justice, and righteousness. Okay, we love that queen. So right, you see the queen with the feathers come out, right? So we understand that, right, under truth, justice, and righteousness, we know who that is, right? So we know that this is the way of the warrior. Truth, justice, and righteousness is the way of the warrior. Okay, this is the way of all the Nasuts. This is the way of the Medjay warrior. Okay, the Medjay were the bodyguards in the special forces of the Nasut. Okay, these are the brothers that protected the royal family, guarded the tombs. Okay, and understood and served Ma'at. Okay, to be right. So we knew that in order for us to understand Ma'at, we had to be Ma'at, be truth, justice, and righteousness. Right. We understand this is balance for us. But of course, you see other things today, right? But we
Yes.
know when we go back home and we see that sister, right? This is the place of beginning. This is the place where we understand warrior culture and philosophy and way of life. When we do that, then we understand we're coming back home to mama, if you will. Okay?
Wow, powerful, powerful. I mean, you touched on so many. I mean, the main basis, and where and you elaborated in the areas where I'm just like, man, like I didn't have to really ask that question. I didn't have to, So,
Yeah.
man, I'm definitely grateful. I all I can say is, as always, in the short time that I have known you, again, I can't say, but so many times it's an honor, and knowing that this is bringing me closer on the path that I'm going, in meeting you and in having this conversation with you, and in so many words, I want to see to it in some way that I can do some work with you, just like, I mean, as to me, this is part of the work, but it's like, man, I can't really put it in any other way except for this warrior identity, this warrior culture, and restoring it and maintaining it. It means so much to me, and to see someone as your example and knowing that that's what you're doing and that's who you surround yourself by. It's like, man, that means I'm getting closer, and that would help me to, be part of that as well.
Yeah,
So,
brother, it's a journey, man, right? It's a journey. And I've been doing this, man, like I said, for a while, but my whole thing is to uplift our people, okay, in the way that I know how. And I feel that we have contributed a lot to what we know not. Okay?
mm,
So a lot of
yes.
people don't understand that. So we got to get to that point, right? If you go to places like Washington D.C., okay, it's embedded and meshed with Kemet stuff all over the place. They
Yes.
know us well, right? But we don't know. Okay, they also know the warrior culture, right? Everybody want to be a pharaoh, right?
Mm,
Okay, you see,
yes.
right? You see the gods of Egypt. You see all these movies. Okay, they know the power of the Nusupiti. They know him, right? They know Ramses. They know these people, right? All these statues. They know where the power is. We need to know because this is warrior culture. This is foundation. This is what they're saying. I mean, to me, of course, but if I am being very direct,
Mm-hmm.
okay, when I look up, I went to a place in Houston, Texas, right? They had a lot of artifacts, okay? And I go to the bust of Ursa Ma'at. I'm standing there looking at it. He said, "Listen, black man," okay? Like he's looking at me saying, "Listen, black man, you need to get back to your roots." Okay, this big old huge giant 9 foot tall statue of Ursa Ma'Ara. I'm standing there looking at it.
Mm.
Okay, it's like he's looking right at you, saying, "You need to get back to your roots, black man."
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's what this is all about. Now,
Yes.
again, we're not talking about other people, but we need to know our culture, like the Asians know their culture, like the Hispanic people know their culture. We need to know ours too, right? And they had a warrior culture too. Okay,
Yes.
the Mayans had a warrior culture too. Okay, so what happened to ours? See, so my goal is
Yes.
to revitalize our history and our warrior culture and our arts. Nothing wrong with,
Ah,
you know what I mean?
that will bring me to one last question,
Sure.
because you just made me think of this. I understand that a warrior can soldier, but do you feel that there is that at some point that there is a difference between a warrior and a soldier? I guess, would be my question.
Yes, there is a difference between a warrior and a soldier. Soldiers, like for an example, if you go into the military, right? They have right people right, are trained as cadets. Okay. Then they train them as soldiers, right? They're soldiers, right? A soldier ain't been out on the battlefield, right? They ain't going right. They ain't been deployed yet. Okay. When you get deployed, you do some work, you survive. Yes. Did you save your brother? Yes. Now you're a warrior. So you graduated.
Mm,
See, well, warrior is a graduate. You just don't, right? People don't understand. Oh, I was born into a warrior culture. No, you have to go through the rites and the rituals and the trials to become a warrior.
yes.
See, warriors are proven. Okay, they're proven on the battlefield. A soldier could be made, but a warrior is proven.
Mm, yes.
Okay, that's what it is. Warriors have been tested. See, soldiers ain't been tested yet. They've been trained, but not tested.
And I would say, if you go by the definition as well, a soldier can always be a soldier, but not a warrior if that soldier is a coward, because a warrior is known to be brave,
That's correct.
right? They have that experience, but also that bravery, that badge of honor, by putting their lives on the line,
Right. I
where
give
that's
you
not something that a coward would do.
Well, I'll give you an example of that, brother. I mean, when Ursa Ma'Ara is on the battlefield, okay, he has some soldiers out there with him. Okay.
Mm,
Okay. But these soldiers, okay, was on the field with him, decided they was going to, right, disperse. They ran, they saw the enemy coming, right? They ran. Okay. They dispersed everywhere. Ursa Ma'Ara ain't having that. Okay.
mm,
So when the battle is over, he went to a standstill. He said, I got to fight these men all by myself, and that's what I'm going to do. Right? So as he comes to a standstill, finally, he said, where are the men that ran? They all, right? The other soldiers got him, lined him up. He said, I just want to let y'all know y'all ain't going home. Okay? Y'all ain't going home. Okay? He took a sword and cut their heads off.
dang.
Okay? Cut their heads off. His own men now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He said he ain't having that. Right? Cowardice is nowhere in the dictionary for them.
Right.
Okay. When you go back to Kemet, you see all them walls, on the murals of the walls, the drawings of the battlefield and stuff like that. Okay. That shows bravery and valor.
Mm,
Okay. We ain't gonna have no stories about y'all ran from the battlefield, y'all going home to y'all wives. Ain't gonna happen.
right.
Okay.
Right.
Then he showed them that. Okay. He said, I'm gonna let you know who I am. And that's exactly what he did. Okay. I'm just letting you know. He real serious, okay? He'll let you know you ain't gonna make it home to your kids. Okay, you ain't did no fight, you ain't killed nobody. I mean, you know, you ran
Right.
because y'all saw a few chariots. You know, he's like, I trained y'all, right, to be on the field right now to this day. Y'all gonna run, ain't gonna make it. Okay,
Mm.
ain't gonna make it. You ain't
Mm.
going home, man. I'm just gonna tell you. And by the way, don't nobody go back there and say, what happened to my husband? He's down the battlefield. You know, he's just bodies.
Mm.
Okay, and their names are not remembered. Okay, because he's gonna say,
Man.
listen, yeah, his thing was, I'm going to go back home to Kemet and proclaim my name. I'm not going back in shame.
Right.
That's what's up. A warrior does that. For us, we know to do the right thing, right? No matter what the cost is, right? Ma'at will protect you, and your ancestors will be there to be alongside you, brother.
Mm. Man. Man, we got to pick up on this another go
Okay, brother.
round someday,
So no problem.
man. Another round someday with you, brother. Man, oh my goodness. This definitely did it for me.
Yeah.
And I I think next time around, if possible, we could get just more of that connections to the I mean, really bringing it back to Kemet, to Africa, things like that, because I feel like, again, the reason why I'm doing this is because this is like that age where we want to be anything but ourselves. Like you said, we're gravitating towards other people, paradigms, identities, cultures, right? And to me, being true to who you are, I mean, I'm not gonna knock that, but when I guess, like like hold yourself in some sort of, on one hand, entitlement, and then on the other hand, like you look down on your own people, but you uplift someone else's,
Yeah, that's the
right?
yeah.
You're so forgiving towards some other people, but you're not towards your own.
Right.
I feel like we owe ourselves more, and really need to bring that back in terms of value of self and others.
Right.
Understanding we can't have ourselves without others. Take
Right.
care of yourself, take care of your family, but we need to bring that same love back to our communities, and know that we ourselves imply others and the
That's
other
right.
way around. So thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, and again, I can't wait for the next time around, whenever you had a time.
Well, the thing is, I want people to understand too. I know if you've seen the Black Panther, the movies and all that. So
Yes,
I'm gonna close out with this. But every time you see the arms crossed like this, my brother, okay?
yes,
A lot of people don't understand. That has nothing to do with Wakanda. Nothing. That's us.
yes.
This means this is the symbol, right? You rise to the consciousness of Asar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first person you ever gonna see is Michi Hotep,
Mm-hmm.
okay, of the 11th dynasty. And he says you rise with Asar. You understand? Asar, people understand, that's what the Sebas do. That's what I do. The Asar is where we want to be at. The
Yes,
consciousness of Asar is understanding the cosmos. We want to go where the consciousness is. People think of God or something that I don't know what they're talking about, but I hope they see a black man if they do. But but I'm just saying, we want to rise with the SAR, right? That's what they do. And that's why we cross our arms in respect and honor to the great Aset and Asar,
mm,
you see. So
yes,
that's what we do. So I teach that and help people to understand that. See, to them it means nothing, but to us it means everything. Because
right,
it's a symbol. You see the new suit when they open up the Sahu, you see a Mitsubishi like this.
Yes.
Okay? You'll see here the great king like that. Okay? And we want to be able to keep and protect. We don't desecrate anything. We have respect and honor to all of them. Why? Because it's a part of our lineage, it's a part of our ancestors. See? That's how that works out. And then when we do that, they will please because we are doing this work, right? So the goal is to complete our ancestors' incomplete works. That's what we're here to do, brother. So,
absolutely.
All right. So, I wanted to just say that real quick.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Greatly appreciated.
You're
Dua
welcome.
to you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dua to you.
Yes, that's exactly right, my brother.